Chapter 57. The stain on the wall seemed to move. It couldn't move, of course, but it looked like it was. Jenny stared at it. She didn't dare release it from her eyes in case it moved again when she wasn't looking at it. If it's moving, if it's actually moving, it's a sign. If it moves, he will make it. No, if it does not move, of course, there was a much greater chance that it would not move. If the stain does not move, he will be okay. It wasn't moving, of course. She knew it could not. Keivan would survive. After all, how could she survive if he didn't? He was the tranquility in her life, the only thing that felt constant. He was always there. He had been there for several years, for many, many years. Of course, he would be all right. She so wanted him to sit here now, next to her in the hospital corridor and wait. Put his arm around her and wait with her for Keivan to be well. He would say that everything would be fine and then everything would feel better. She shook her head a little, keeping her eyes on the stain on the wall. My head isn't working. Keivan can't be here with me and wait for himself to get well. I feel a bit weird. Didn't they say I could be in shock? Not that anyone had taken care of her when she had arrived at the hospital. The cops had dropped her off at the entrance and she had just walked in and asked for Keivan. No one had asked how she was. Why should they? Keivan was the one dying, not her. Obviously, no one would check on her, care for her. After all, it was her fault. The stain moved, didn't it? He'll make it! Then she remembered she had changed her mind. He would survive if the stain didn't move. What did it mean then, that it had moved? That he would die? Of course not. She shook her head again, no longer looking at the stupid stain. Keivan, 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 she murmured. Why won't they let me see you? They are operating on you now. I should be there, see what they do, hold your hand and talk to you, but you can't talk. My God, what have I done? It was my fault. Why did I drag you there? You didn't want us to go there. So what if we had missed last bus? We could have taken a taxi. Who cares that it would have been more expensive? If only I hadn't gone in there. Then we would be sleeping next to each other in your bed right now. She moaned, slid down from her chair and collapsed on the floor. Thinking about it was so painful, so painful. She felt ice cold and began shaking. Her hands, they were all blurry. She looked up for the stain but had difficulty finding it. Everything was shaking, everything was foggy. A terrible scream scared her. Was anyone hurting? When she realized she was the one screaming, she put her trembling hands on her mouth, in her mouth, to stop the frightening sound, but she could not. It was as if it came from deep within her, from a place she had no control over. The floor shook, and there was a thundering noise. Why was it so noisy here? Keivan, please come and hold me. When she felt arms around her, she was overwhelmed with relief. A second after, she realized it was not Keivan, it was a nurse. A white-clad nurse held her, helped her get up and sit on the chair again. The woman spoke in a calm voice. Jenny didn't hear the words, but the voice was soothing, understanding. The voice changed. It was talking to someone else. A heavy blanket was put on her shoulders and back. Can I see Keivan now? I want to talk to him, make sure he's all right. They didn't answer. They only talked to each other. Keivan, Jenny repeated. I want to see Keivan. They gave her tablets and a glass of water. Jenny shook her head, but the white-clad people didn't give in, and in the end they forced her to take the tablet. Please, Keivan, don't be mad at me, she mumbled, collapsing into the nurse's arms.